former Transnet Chief Financial Officer Anoj Singh is back at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry today. At his last appearance, he told the Commission that Eskom had signed a contract with McKinsey before it terminated its relationship with the consultancy. Former Public Enterprises Minister Lynne Brown will give evidence on Denel in the afternoon. eNCA's Kylie Khumalo is joining us now on the Midday View to be telling us about the latest. Good afternoon, Kaya. Now, Singh's safety boxes have come the security, and he claims he possessed about 4, and that's been a topic this morning. Tell us what's happening there.
Well, that's right, Braden. So the significance of those boxes, so the inquiry is relying on witness number 3 in light of the allegations that he presented. So this is a former Transnet driver who would chauffeur Mr. Singh from time to time. So the allegation is that he would use these boxes to store a lot of money that he will source from the Guptas. And of course, Mr. Singh has vehemently denied those allegations. So he says, given the very high crime rates in South Africa, he used those boxes to store the jewelry stuff, and from time to time he will keep his cash as well. So he denies that the money was sourced from the Guptas. But what was quite interesting was the revelation. So the inquiries investigators have been really working hard. Now they've been able to establish that in fact it's not 4, so it's about 8 of them, because previously it said it's about 4 boxes for his family members, that's for himself, his wife and 2 children. So but also now it's also been discovered that so he kind of upgraded these boxes to keep all these possessions. So it was quite interesting because he didn't see the relevance why they were really grilling him about these boxes, and the commission chair had to come in and say the relevance is there are very serious allegations that you are facing that you are storing this particular cash. But let's take a listen to this interaction, Braden.
Odds and sods, I don't really recall.
Documents for them, like
birth certificates, so ID documents.
Please speak up, Mr. Singh.
Birth certificates, ID documents, and the like. But Mr. Chair, these are issues that relate to my personal being at the time. I don't see the relevance for that in this.
Well, what you kept in the boxes is obviously relevant, Mr. Singh. You know that. You surely know that what you kept in the boxes is relevant because there are allegations of you taking money from the Guptas and taking it to Knox Vaults. So you say you didn't take any money, any cash from the Guptas and kept it at Knox Vault. You indicated what you kept in those boxes, but if the other version is true, you may have kept money that you got from the Guptas in the boxes, isn't it?
That is true, Mr. Chair.
Yes, so it's highly relevant. Mr. Maivek?
Thank you. And you then went on to explain that, as I understood it, you'd keep some jewelry for your wife, and you also said that you might keep, or you did keep cash for yourself to a maximum value, as I recall evidence, of 100,000 rand.
I think the number was between 100 to 200, I think.
Between 100 and?
200.
Between 100 and 200. And that money you say you got, if my memory serves me correctly, from moonlighting and gambling.
Well, moonlighting was your suggestion.
Well, that's the term that is commonly used when an executive in a position such as you does private work on the side.
Okay, if that's the way it's...
So that's how you got the money. Gambling and moonlighting.
That is correct.
Right. Well, what we do know from the records is that you didn't have 4 boxes, you had 8 boxes. You would have seen that.
That is correct.
Between making that money gambling and moonlighting, he seemed to have made a lot of trips as well to Dubai.
Well, certainly, Bredan, and most of them were quite controversial. So the Commission has also once again uncovered that some of those trips were actually paid by the Guptas, and once again, a popular line in the Commission, the denial and denial. And there's one particular instance where he had a meeting with Tony Gupta and Mr. Chawla, who was with Sahara Computers. Of course, that's a company that belonged to the Guptas. But the relevance here was that they had a meeting. And on several occasions, Mr. Singh has been saying he had private visits to Dubai as opposed to official visits using Transnet's resources. So he really just tried so hard to convince the Commission. At some point, his legal representative had to come in and say, well, some of the stuff that they're using, they're relying on the Gupta leaks, where around the issue of veracity from time to time still needs to be authenticated. But of course, the Commission is quite determined that they do have other documents that are really just have been adduced before it, and they seem to be really substantiating and really just making sure that everything is being corroborated.
Okay, so he's continuing this afternoon, Kaya?
Well, certainly. So he's going to continue this afternoon, and also during the course of the evening session, the former Public Enterprises Minister Lynne Brown once again will come in, and it was quite interesting, her previous testimony again, where she was saying she's here to clear her name because there was a campaign to smear her in so many ways. So, it's going to be interesting really to hear her once again having such an opportunity to try and set the record straight, as she claims.
Thank you very much, Kaya Lihle here on the Midday View about what's been happening at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into State Capture.